Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another recent read video, and for this video we're going to be covering books I read from the month of April. Yes, April to June. And it's not like a lot for a lot of people, but for me I read it was a lot for me. And I read quite a lot, and I think in total they are like, I can't count, it's too many, but there are lots of books here. So I'm going to try and make this video as short as I can, but also try and explain as much as I can remember about each book. And so let us begin. Goes a little something like okay, so for the month of April I read 6 books, and so in no particular order. First is The Recipe for Persuasion, and I gave this 4 stars. So basically this book is like a second chance romance. It follows these 2 characters, one who has a failing business. She's trying to run her father's restaurant and it's not going well, and so she joins this cooking program, kind of like chefs. There's this chef, now all these cooking shows, something like that, but in this one it's like Dancing with the Stars but with cooking. And so she gets in this show, she'll get paired up with a celebrity and then they cook together, something like that. And then her ex-boyfriend, who happens to be a footballer, appears on the show, and you know how it goes from there. This book, I enjoyed it a lot, but it's funny how the romance aspect wasn't so prevalent. It wasn't like the main thing in the book. It mostly centers on the relationship between the female main character and her mother, because they have a strained relationship because of some abandonment, because a certain someone abandoned another certain someone. I think rain is falling. Oh my god. Let's try and do this video before the rain becomes too bad. So they have some abandonment issues between them, and I kind of like this because I really enjoyed the conversation about how it's always women that have to like give up their careers for the family. Like in this book there was a conversation around how women can't have it all, and like they always have to give up something. I really enjoyed the way it was handled in this book, and because of that I really like the book. But there's also a trigger warning for rape, I think alcoholism and death of the parents, because that also happens. So the next book I read was The Poet X. I gave this 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I listened to it as an audiobook, and this book, beautiful. The first audiobook that I've listened to that was written in verse, and now I plan on reading every book written in verse through audio, because I feel like it's an experience and I'm going to continue. And I really don't have a lot to say. I just really enjoyed this book. Then the next is I'm Not Dying With You Tonight. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's a book that I don't know if it's based on like real events, but there's a riot basically going on, and so 2 girls have to find their way home. One is black, one is white, and so we get the books from both perspectives, and we kind of see. It was an interesting read. I really enjoyed it. And like we get the book from both perspectives, and we kind of see how both of them react to these riots and how different it is. And there are sometimes both girls were quite annoying, especially, if not even especially, both of them were very annoying, because certain things they did in this book, I was just like, why would you do this is not the time to be thinking about things like this. And they did think about it. I was annoyed, but not a lot, but annoyance was there. The next book I read was The Half God of Rainfall. I gave this 5 stars, and this is a really, really nice book. I really enjoyed it. I did not think I would enjoy it as much, but I did. So this book basically follows a demigod named Demi, and he's the god of rainfall, and he's the son of Zeus, and Zeus actually raped the what's that word though? She's a worshipper of the goddess Oshun. I think it's Oshun. Is it Oshun? I can't even remember. but she worshipped, and then Zeus rapes her, so she has a son. And then this Demi, his powers were kind of growing, and as he grows, he's drawing power from Zeus, and it's making Zeus weaker. So Zeus decides that, you know what, this young man has to die because he can't be using from my powers like this. And the book goes from there, and it's such a really cool book. And I like this story because more than just about Demi, it's also about his mother and how she overcomes her trauma, which is like a really big trauma, and she stands up for herself. And it's a really good book. The ending is very satisfying for the mother anyway. Very satisfying. I recommend. Then the next book I read was The Empress of Swords and Fortune by Niveau. I recently did a video on Singy Hill Circle where I tried to convince you on why you should read it. So I guess I'm just going to, if you want to know what I thought about this book, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Just watch that video. Then the next I read was The Love Boat Taipei. I can't remember the name of the main character, but basically she's sent to Taipei by her parents to learn to embrace her culture more. And in this book, she wants to be a dancer, but her parents want her to be a doctor, but she wants to be a dancer. She secretly applies to go to a dancing school, but she also gets admission into a medicine school. So there's that whole conversation between her and her parents, and then they send her to Taipei to learn to embrace her culture more. And then she meets this boy. You know how it goes from there. Now I enjoyed this book. Yeah, it was actually really enjoyable. I feel like through this book I was able to finally come to terms with the fact that I'm not really the biggest fan of contemporary books. Maybe mostly contemporary, right? It's not really a genre I enjoy the most of, because this is an objectively good book, and I've seen people give 5 stars, but for me, I did not just like it because the girl, so the things she was doing, and I'm not even going to fault the book because she's at the age where she will make such mistakes. Let's face it, I'm not her age, I'm older than her, and there are mistakes that me myself I would make. So I guess it's too close to home, even if technically it's not because she's younger, but like it's still close to home. And I'm just like, you know what, I like to believe that I'm better than this, so I don't want to read about people that are making mistakes that I could still possibly make. That was a lot. Anyway, contemporary isn't really my most loved genre, so I did not enjoy this book as much. And there was also a love triangle, and I detest love triangle. If a love triangle was a human being and a building was burning and I had a cup of water, I would not give the water. Did I just say building? If a love triangle was a person and this person was on fire and I had a glass of water, I would not pour that water. I would let the person burn because I detest love triangles so much. Anyway, so that one definitely knocked down a star for me, but I don't want to be too petty. That's like 3.5, 4 stars. But I really enjoyed this book, apart from my biases against the genre and the tropes used. It was a good book. A lot of interesting things happened. So let's move to the month of May. I'm trying to be fast. I'm really sorry if they are very summarized, but I'm trying to be fast because I think when it's going to go, and that's going to mess up my whole video. So I'm trying to move things along. The next book I read was Shadow and Bone series. Let's just say the books from the Crucialverse. And I made a vlog. I have a whole dedicated vlog, so I'm not going to talk about them. So I'm just going to leave the whatever to my vlog. So if you're interested, you can check it out. But Shadow and Bone vlog, I have a vlog, so check it out. So I'm just going to say my overall thoughts and feelings. And this series is fairly popular, so I'm sure you guys know what's about. So for Shadow and Bone, 3 stars. Siege as Norm, 3 stars. Ruin and Rising, 3 stars. Then 6 of Crows got 4 stars. Overall feeling for the Crucialverse trilogy, or the Crucialverse trilogy, shall we as the Crucial trilogy? I don't know. Alina and Mao, I could have lived without them, honestly. But I don't know. Alina was so annoying. God, I could not stand that girl. She got better. Mao, both of I don't know. I have feelings. Then 6 of Crows. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Grishabless, and the characters were not annoying as compared to Alina and Miles. If you're interested in knowing what I thought, I'll leave the link, so just check it out. Then the next is Every Heart a Doorway. I gave this 3 stars. I really enjoyed this series. Yes. Oh my god, it's going to fall. Okay, so I really enjoyed this series, and I honestly don't know, but I really enjoyed it. Basically, this series basically is about a group of children who are transported to another world, and then when they come back to our world, they go to this school where they learn to adapt back into living into our world. And then if they are not interested in staying in this world, they stay there in that school until they're able to find a door back to their other world. And I really enjoyed it. This first book had a bit of mystery in it, and I really enjoyed that aspect to it. Then the next book I read was The Mountain Sing. I gave this 5 stars. This was a beautiful story that I encourage and beg and plead with everyone to read. So if you haven't read it, please read it. The next I read was Love from A to Z. Also another 5-star read. I had some really good 5-star picks this month, and this was such a cute and wholesome and beautiful story, basically about this girl Zainab, who is sent to live with her aunt in a country whose name I can't remember because I am bad. But it's a country in the Arab world. I can't remember the name of the country, where she meets this young man, and it's a beautiful story. It's a really beautiful story, and I really loved it. This was a book after my own heart. I really loved this book. The next book I read was His Only Wife. I gave this book 4 stars. This is a really cool story. This is like a Cinderella story, but in an African. Is this Cinderella? No. It's not. Well, it's not really a Cinderella, but in a way, it's like a Cinderella story, because she's like this poor girl who's then in a way it's a Cinderella story, but basically this girl there's this family who has a son who is currently in a relationship with this woman from another country. I think she's from Liberia, and then the family doesn't want him to marry her, so they go and marry a wife from him from the village, and then they bring her to the city. Afi, I think her name is Afi, I can't even remember. She's aware of the situation in which she's about to enter, but she believes, because the family has encouraged her so much, that she'll be able to overcome this troublesome woman they don't want for their son and win over the son's heart. So she set about trying to do so, and in the process has the biggest shock of her life. I really enjoyed this story. I think there's a lot of drama. This honestly felt like something that can happen in African magic, but I really enjoyed it. I had a really interesting conversation with my roommates while reading this book. We all had opinions, and it was a really cool reading experience for me. Then the next I read, oh my god, this is going to ruin everything. So the next I read was Crying in H-Mart. I gave this 5 stars. I feel like at this point, if you watch my videos or if you don't watch my videos, it really doesn't matter, because I'm still going to talk about it here. But I talk about this book a lot. I really enjoyed this book. I think this is the first non-fiction I've read this year. This is a memoir about this. She's the author, Michelle Zona. She's a musician, and then this memoir is about her relationship with her mother, and also about food, because her mother's love language is food, and so she and her mother have strained relationship. For some reason this year I've just chosen to read books about mothers and daughters with strained relationship, and I'm loving it. But after a really rocky relationship with her mother during her teenage years, when she grows up and she's an adult, she tries to rebond with her mother, and then her mother is diagnosed with cancer. I believe it's cancer. It's a terminal illness, and then she tries to do as much as she can for her mother with the little time remaining. And after her mother dies also, she tries to remember and see if she can recreate special moments with her mother by cooking certain Korean food that her mother made for her while she was still alive, and it's such a beautiful book and made me cry a lot, and I loved it, and I loved it. Then the next was And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. I gave this book 4 stars. This is a very, very short book, and I wish it was longer. I really enjoyed it, and this author, I've been hearing about this author a lot, and I've just been like, I don't know. I felt like this author was overhyped, but this book has convinced me, and now I plan on reading all the books by this author because I really enjoy this author's writing style. So, yeah. Okay, so that's it for May. Let's move to the last month. Thank God, this is so long. So now we move to June. Like I said, I'm going to just be giving summarized, watered down version, because most of these books in this month, I talk about them in a lot of reading vlogs. So I'm just going to be dropping hints to the reading vlogs that I talk about them. Please watch them. So for the month of June, I also read 11 books. Oh my God, why am I reading so much? Okay, I read 11 books in the month of June, and so the first book, in no particular order, is Red, White, and Royal Blue. I gave this 4 stars. Really enjoyed this. I talk about this in a reading vlog, which I'm just going to leave up there, so check it out. But I really loved it. I really loved the relationship between the two main characters, and like, you know, I am bad with names. I'm bad with a lot of things, honestly, but I can't remember their names. So, but I really enjoyed their relationship. I thought the emails between them were cute. Honestly, everything about them is also good, and this book is so steamy. Jesus. So the next was The Black Flamingo. This is also a really cool story. I gave this book 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed this book. Like I said, books written in verse, I always read them audiobook because an experience. And was this not an experience? It was a beautiful experience. This book was so good and so beautiful. It's a book about acceptance and love, and like a coming of age story, and it's just everything wholesome and beautiful in life that you need to read. If you haven't read this book, I highly encourage you to read this book because it's such a cool and beautiful story. That's what you're getting from me. I'm sorry. This is also in my reading vlog, so it's still up there. So just click on it now. But not now. After this video, then you click on it. Yeah. Then the next I read was Teach Me by Olivia Dade. I gave this 3 stars. This book, I actually don't have a problem with it. It's just that I did not feel... Okay, so basically this book is about 2 teachers in a high school who fall in love. That's the most summarized version I can give you. It's a romance book, so you know they are multiple love, so that's not a spoiler. But like, this book, I really don't have a problem with it. It's just that I did not feel connected to either of the 2 main characters, and I just did not care. There was nothing objectively wrong or bad about the story. I just did not care. The next book I read was Down Among the Sticks, and this is the second book in the Wayward Children series. I read the first book last month in May, which was Every Heart a Doorway. Then I read Down Among the Sticks. So this book takes place... This is like a prequel to the book 1. And then it follows 2 characters from the first book and their life and how they found themselves in the school for wayward children. Is that what they call the school? But the school, you know the school now. I described the school. Yes, that's how it says their story of how they found themselves there. And I enjoyed it. I think this one will be 3.5, but it was still like 3 stars. I enjoyed it. Then the next book I read was You Exist Too Much. This book got 2 stars. This book I did not like it at all. Why? Because I think I'm going to do a dedicated review for this particular book, because there were just a lot of aspects of this book that I did not like, and I have a lot to say, but I feel like because this rain is threatening my life, I might not have time to say everything I want to say. So I'm just going to say that I gave this book 2 stars because of a lot of factors, but it should have been 1 star, but I gave it 2 stars because I really enjoyed the writer's writing style. But apart from writing style, there was nothing else to write home about for me. So I just decided to leave it as a 2 stars, because why the hell should I be put through so much trauma for no good reason? Hopefully I will have a more in-depth and explained video of why I do not like this book in a future upcoming video somewhere. The next book I read was Open Water, and I have a reading blog where I talk about why I like this book and why I do not like this book. But I gave it 2 stars. There were certain aspects of this book that I appreciated, and a really large portion of these books that I did not care for and did not like, and I really did not have a really good reading experience with this book. But I left it at 2 stars instead of 1 star because of some aspects of this book which I really appreciated. Plus the writing style was also really cool. Then the next was Diary of Blood. I gave this 4 stars. I enjoyed this. It was actually an okay read. I thought this would be a 5-star read. I think my biggest problem was that I thought this would be a 5-star read, but it just ended up being 4 stars. But I was still really okay with it because that's still a really good rating. I just wanted it to be 5 stars, but it wasn't. The next was The Office Party by Whitney G. I gave this 2 stars. This book is actually pretty funny and okay. It's a really short. It's a novella. That's what I'm looking for. It's a novella, and it's basically about this billionaire and his assistants, and this young man does not let his workers go on holiday. He makes them go for this like work holiday retreat thing where he takes them to like really cool places, like I don't know, Hawaii, like really nice vacation spots, but also makes them work. And then his assistant or PO, I don't know what she is exactly, but she's under him, is always plotting ways to escape, but he really likes her, so he's always like, you know, spoiling her plans. It's cute, it's okay, but there are just certain aspects of this book that I did not really agree with. It was just like, because it did not feel realistic. That was just my biggest issue, was that some things that happened did not feel realistic enough. I was just like, can this really happen in a workplace? Which is why it's 2 stars. But apart from that, it's a really cool book and it's funny, so I don't really have issues with it, apart from that one big issue. And then the last book I read was 1 Year of Ugly, and I gave this 4 stars. So this book basically follows this family who loses a relative, and then said relative makes a deal with this man who is like a gang person. He's a bad man, and then she dies and she's owing this man a lot of money. So this young man, his name is Ugly, he comes to the family and threatens them and tells them that they have to work for him until they pay back the debts that the relative that died left behind. And so they had to spend like a year working with this young man. And there's also like a forbidden romance thing going on the side, which I really enjoyed. Overall, I really liked the story. It was interesting, it was cool, it's nice. Yeah, okay, I think we've come to the ending of this video. I'm so sorry for, I really wanted to talk more in depth, but I don't want to make the video so long, and also rain is about to fall and that's going to mess up my whole day if I don't make this video now. So I just had to rush things, so I'm really sorry for that. But thank you for watching this video with me so far. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Please tell me one book that's okay, please tell me a book that you thought would be 5-star but what didn't end up being 5-star. Let's talk. Mine was Diary of Blood. I thought I was going to be a 5-star read. It's still a really cool book. It was 4 stars at the end of the day, but I was just disappointed because it wasn't 5 stars. But apart from that, I would like to know your thoughts. So oh my god, I'm so confused. Bye.